All of us are only here for a short time, but the roads and structures left behind are portholes into the past, and some of us achieve much more than others. Lord Castlereagh's life was played out on a world stage and would leave his mark to this very day. Castlereagh was born into the Stewart family in Dublin, although he spent most of his life right here in Mount Stewart. He lived in extraordinary times and would rise through the political ranks in Britain.
He felt intensively Irish. At the same time, he felt that Ireland deserved to be a part of a bigger and more powerful unit, which was at that time the British Empire. He saw in the Napoleonic Wars how the British Empire could not only ally itself with Europe, but also lead Europe.
Peter Lawrenson is married into the Stewart family and is a historical expert on it.
He felt of himself much more as a diplomat than a politician. It's one of the reasons why the King proposed that if Lord Liverpool resigned, the King, George IV, would make Castlereagh his Prime Minister. And Castlereagh said, "No thanks. Thank you very much, Your Majesty, but no thanks."
As well as appointing such men as Nelson and Wellington, he set up unthinkable coalitions and ensured the Pope that all the Vatican's wealth would be returned from Napoleon's armies.
As Secretary of War, he had put together a thing called the Six Coalition with Britain and its allies against Napoleon. That is to say, the armies of Imperial Russia, the armies of the Austrian Empire, and the armies of the Prussian Empire. And in the course of that, he became personal friend of the monarchs involved, the Tsar, the Kaiser, and the King of Prussia.
The boy that grew up in Newtownards would set in place the Acts of the Union and end the American War of 1812.
And even more remarkable for an American like myself, it was he who brought to an end the War of 1812, which many of us have forgotten about. The principal negotiator for the end of the war from the American side was a remarkable man called John Quincy Adams, became America's 6th president, and he said, "I bring this war to an end because I trust the word of Lord Castlereagh." This is a very little known link between America and Northern Ireland, but an important one. Because as much as the Congress of Vienna prevented the British from fighting any wars on the continent for 100 years until the First World War, it is also the birth of the special relationship, because no British army has had to fight an American army for 200 years, right down to the present day.
Dougie Beattie, GB News, Mount Stewart.